But I wanted to share this clip with you. It's of an ICE raid. And it's not at a farm or at a hotel. On May 29th, ICE conducted a raid at a Tallahassee construction site near FSU, Florida State University, arresting over 100 undocumented migrants from countries like Mexico and Honduras. Critics argue that it targets essential workers, causing fear of potential labor shortages in construction. It's weird, Johnson, because I remember Jasmine Crockett. Black people, we done picking cotton. We done picking cotton. Who gonna pick the cotton in?
So I had to go around the country and educate people about what immigrants do for this country, or the fact that we are a country of immigrants.
Right.
The fact is, ain't none of y'all trying to go and farm right now. Okay, so I'm lying. Raise your hands. You're not. We done picking cotton. We are. You can't pay us enough to find a plantation.
I know that's right.
Who gonna pick the cotton? And then she went on to say, that migrants gonna pick the cotton. Migrants gonna come here and be the slaves.
I tell people all the time when I was on the trail, because I would tell them a few things. I would talk about my trans kids. Then I would talk about the immigrants, right? And I'd be like, he say they gonna take the black jobs. And then I'd say, now, how many of you are raising kids to go and work on the farms? I'd be like, no. Don't do it at the same time. Please tell me, how many of you are sending your kids to college to go and work on the... Okay, well, guess who is working the farms? So that you can afford your food.
So that you can have food.
So that you can have food, right? And I'd say the same thing about, now, how many of you are looking to send your kids into hospitality after this college education so that they can go and make the beds at the hotels? How many of you are planning to send your kids to college? Because that's what we do here. We send everybody to college. How many of you are planning to send your kids to college so that they can then go and build these houses? So the reality is that so long as we live in a capitalist society, there's always going to be someone or a group of people that will do work that some of the rest of y'all don't want to do.
First of all, it sounded very racist what Jasmine Crockett was saying. It sounded a little racist. At least bigoted. Gotta admit it. Here's the thing, though. She was also lying. Yeah, she was lying. Because she is insinuating that migrants don't get jobs that black people get. Yeah, they're on this thing, like, remember this whole argument about black jobs? Black people work as construction workers. My father worked construction for 50 years. There are a number of black Americans that work construction. We would still be working construction as opposed to Uber drivers and Amazon delivery people if construction sites would hire us, because they done moved on to start hiring migrants. They got entire crews that speak Spanish. And there's a number of industries that have been overtaken by the influx of migrants whom they pay less money to. And then they phase us out.
It's selective hiring going on too. I'll say that.
Oh, yeah,
I'm not going to speak on race or whatnot, but they hiring selectively right now, and that's killing folks that's been here forever to work.
Oh, was it? So you didn't call you Yeah, people come through and they'll say, I need bilingual people instead of white or black. And then they'll pick those people. Of course, I don't think it's right. I mean, in my own opinion, I think it's very wrong, because that is the purpose of the lottery.
And then they also got this other practice that I don't agree with, the discrimination thing, when somebody can roll up in here and request a certain ethnic group.
Right.
They'll come up in here and just boldly say, I want Mexican. You know,
Which is wrong.
and that's you know, a non-Mexican that wanted to work, that you in front of them on this lottery page, I think that's not right, to verbally be able to say that, to verbally, openly to practice this discrimination.
Now you can say that's racist for me to point this out, but I'm saying it's obvious that we aren't advocating for the same people. See, I'm advocating for Black Americans. You're advocating for migrants, undocumented.
A national job placement company is being sued, accused of favoring Hispanics over African Americans. Dean Reynolds is in Chicago.
MVP Staffing is a job placement agency that operates 60 offices in 38 states. Its vehicles carry thousands of mostly temporary workers to client companies every day. And it now stands accused of rigging the business against African Americans. Built on the testimony of alleged MVP whistleblowers, the lawsuit charges the company systematically placed Hispanics over blacks for one simple reason. Hispanics were often undocumented and less inclined to complain about hours, wages, or conditions.
Before the sun rises, day laborers wait inside the offices of MVP Staffing back in September 2015, hoping to be called to work the temporary jobs at factories across Chicago and its suburbs. Kevin James was often among the crowd.
Or they'll call out names, pretty much, and tell you, Johnny, you on bus 1. Jose, you're on bus 2.
Was your name ever called?
No.
For the 20 times or so you went out there?
No. The majority of the people who was being called, were Hispanic.
James is a father of 2.
It made me infurious. It hurts right now as I talk about it. I'm just coming here to work like anyone else. So why am I not getting sent out?
The why can be found in a class action lawsuit that alleges MVP Staffing discriminates against blacks, preferring to hire Hispanics. At MVP offices in Waukegan, Latino workers tell why.
It's easy for them to get used and, you know what I mean, for them to screw them over.
It also saves companies money, according to plaintiff's attorney Chris Williams. He says MVP used a coding system that distinguished black applicants from Hispanic ones because many are illegal immigrants and less likely to complain.
So we got a conflict of interest, because I can show you data that shows when we have heavy influx of immigrants coming to the country, legally or illegally, the rate of unemployment for Black Americans goes up, as does incarceration. I know you don't care. And I know you want to point over there at a squirrel running around and say there's shooting stars there, and look at how the way the grass is growing, and make all these other comparisons and look at all these other things to distract us away from the point I just made. Black Americans help build America, if not build America for free against our will. The least we could do was benefit from that.
There and everything, it was more like 90-10. It was 90% Mexican, 10% black, if that. A lot of them didn't speak a bit of English. And I'm trying to figure out how could you come into a place, or how could you come into, the United States without being able to speak English? I mean, that, and on top of that, in the company, it's Spanish first and then English, and it's like they putting English secondary when I don't understand that. It's caused a lot of problems because, see, like I said, the communication, there was no communication, and like I said, those that did speak English, they claim they don't speak English and they didn't want to translate, so a lot of times we got mixed communication, They'll tell me they said one thing when they said another. The Mexicans, they were paid less than us. So I didn't understand that because, see, like I say, here it is, a lot of us doing the same job, but everybody's got a different pay salary, every hour. Everybody get paid different pay, by the hour. I didn't understand that, and I still don't understand it. You thinking this agency is paying the same as the next agency, and come to find out, one's paying $11, and like you said, the other one's paying $14, and here we is, and one paying 10 something, and here we all doing the same job.
The least we could do is be able to get jobs in our own country without liberals coming up with new people to bring in to pay less. Without liberals kissing ass of corporations to bring in cheaper workforces. And just so happens, a lot of white people agree with me too, because there are a lot of white folks to work these essential jobs who will get displaced too. Because it's about this. So when I make an argument about this for black people, you turn it into xenophobia. Really, you're too lazy to look up information, or the real reason is you really don't care. And you are afraid to be called a bad person by people who have a different agenda. They'll call you anything to get you off your square. Particularly when you're right. They want to change the conversation. They want to distract.
Realm. So I am telling you that this is a failed thing, but we've got to do better to connect the dots and let people know the reason you can't afford a home is because of these failed immigration policies. The reason you're not going to be able to afford your food is because of these failed immigration policies. And the same can go for the hospitality industries, where we have so many of those in the hospitality industry that are saying they do not have the workers that they need right now.
Forget what I am. It's that about if you think I like migrants. I love my people. We have got a raw deal in America. The U.S. government was giving white people a leg up. They were shooting black people in the leg. Sometimes they shot them in both legs.
African Americans, who make up 29% of Chicago's population, account for 52% of the city's unemployed. The lack of jobs, or even the hope of landing one, is considered a factor in the city's escalating violence.
People respond to that feeling of disenfranchisement in a variety of ways, and some may respond with violence, others respond in other ways, but it really is sort of a cancer on the fabric of the community.
So somebody got to advocate for us, because obviously Al Sharpton ain't doing it. He too busy trying to help white women get management positions at Target and Costco. Yeah, that's not helping us. And this whole fallacy that migrants come here to America to work in the fields is BS. They ain't come all the way over here to work in no damn fields. Yes, there's some people that work in fields. There are people of all colors that work in fields. But that ain't why people come to America to work in fields. And another thing I know, new arrivals to America, whether illegal or illegal, they're going to take them low wages for a minute. And you know what they're going to do? Then they're going to unionize, or they're going to do what they need to do to get them wages up. Because ain't nobody come over here to be exploited, even if that's what you want, or that's what you've been selling your sedity friends. Jasmine Crockett.
So I had to go around the country and educate people about what immigrants do for this country, or the fact that we are a country of immigrants.
Right.
The fact is, ain't none of y'all trying to go and farm right now.
Perfect. You made it to the end of the video. I appreciate you. Now, Google thinks this next video is going to be perfect for you. It's right up your alley. So click the next video, watch that with me, and let's keep this politics going. You're built for this.